Oops.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Roy Rawlings here, and welcome to another exciting edition of Meet the. And today on Meet the, we have the artist, the entertainment guru, the lovely, the beautiful, the animal activist. It's April Doyle. How are you, April?
Good, thank you. How are you? Nice to
I'm
speak with you.
good. Yeah. Glad I got you on board, and you got your little guy floating around. So he heard me. I thought he heard me earlier and started talking to me like, "Who is that talking to you right now?" But for people that don't know, we'll jump right into it and meet the interview. We jump right into the juiciness. For people that don't know who April Doyle is and anything about April Doyle and the Velvet Room, who are you, April Doyle?
Who I am in music has been, I run one of the top corporate show bands in the US. So for a long time, I've been just kind of doing kind of like my day job music. That's what a lot of us kind of refer to it. We do award shows. We've done the after Oscar parties. We do an inaugural balls. It's all high end private events. So been doing that for a long time, supporting a lot of other musicians. And then people were asking me for quite a long time, where is your project?
Right.
When are you going to do your music? So that was the birth of April and the Velvet Room. So it's kind of an interesting name, but what I like about it is any given show, any given recording, you don't know who's going to be in the Velvet Room. And it's always like this unbelievable crew. I've got Stevie Wonder's percussionist. I've got one of Steely Dan's guitar players. I have a list of it. I have this like liner notes here, and it's so long from my album. And I'm so impressed by it. Kevin Flournoy, the producer, who is known all over nationally. The project started, I was just going to record a couple beautiful songs that I loved from back in the day, like old songs that made a mark on me, like a Nancy Wilson song, Phyllis Hyman song. So we started doing that, and all of a sudden this organic, natural, original thing started coming out, and we just were writing these songs just out of the blue and loving it. So here was this album, and then this project turned into something that wasn't initially intended, but like a really cool thing started to come out of it. So
that's when you come up with timeless music. And I tell musicians that all the time, producing events, and I work with some musicians doing artist development. And as much as they wanted to, I had a musician, that amazing singer, and he was like, my cousin does this great production, this new age type of artsy stuff. I said, yeah, but you got brother from Take Six over here. You have musicians that work with Stevie Wonder. You have one of the Dozers. You have all these people around you. Why not just ask and let them flow in? They want to work on something,
nice.
So
I got Lamont Dozier on my thing too.
There you go.
Talk about a nod,
that's when you're in the process of making something timeless, and that's what I like to hear. I like to hear that kind of stuff, because
we also have Kevin Dorsey, who was background singer for Michael Jackson for 25 years. Most people know him from the don't. Oh yeah, he's got some iconic stuff that he's done that people know him in so many different aspects. But Kevin Flournoy was pulling in all these heavyweights, and they were glad to be there, loved to work together. So it added this flavor to the project. So it kind of went from these classics. The first album is these classics into this kind of neo soul, sophisticated neo soul jazz R&B thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's cool.
No, I love it. And you mentioned something key, and a lot of musicians agree to this. You have stepped into something, and sometimes people have a hard time differentiating. I know a lot of musicians. I'm from Baltimore, so I know a lot of musicians back east. When we started Club 347, a jazz club, and some of the projects I've worked on over the years, and I've worked with, have an ongoing jam session here in Burbank with.
You play?
I don't play. I just produce.
Right on.
I just produce the shows. I don't play. I need to pick up something because my daughter's starting to play, and I'm like, you can't just advance past me like that. So, but Herman Jackson, Felix Pollard, Del Atkins, they're the house band for the jam session in Burbank.
Nice.
And we've worked together. We've talked, and it's hard for some musicians to get away from, because like you said, that corporate money gets it more than pays the bills. It gets wonderful. They bring you in and they pay you a lot more than the average club, where you're going to see a lot of people that love the art versus people that will pay for the art.
Right. Yeah, it's an odd thing. It is an odd thing. I've been wanting to do, like, I started talking to some people about doing a little short, like a short film on this corporate entertainment phenomenon, because a lot of people, when I say corporate band, they're like, what's that? They don't know what it is, but it is a very small genre. There's not that many people that are involved in it, but it's a very viable way to make money in music, which most people don't make. They just do it for the love of it.
Right.
And
it's a big deal, especially when you get the nod, when you get the referral that, oh, we had this amazing band for New Year's, and all of a sudden people going out and playing for New Year's, and you're like, what do you do? Well, we made five figures on New Year's. We're like, where? She was like, well, but also people know that you become the go-to. The musicians, and that's why musicians also love to work with you. Because like I've worked with her several times on this level. To record with you is a blessing. You remember Nathan East, when he finally did his first album, he did a documentary called For the Record. And I remember reaching out to him on Twitter and like, this is the most amazing thing ever. He's like, oh, humble. Thank you, man. But it was the fact that everybody has said he recorded his first solo album at 60. He was 59, 60, just doing his first solo album. But everybody, Michael McDonald, some people that recorded his album or that he wanted to record on the album passed away. One of the people on the album passed away. It was like he finally did this thing, but everybody was like, of course we'll work with you. You worked with us for so many years.
Right.
So that camaraderie is great.
Well, we care about the U.S. cares about age with artists. Europe doesn't. As long as it's got authenticity, it's good music. They just, there's a different thing over here. If you're not a 13-year-old Disney kid over here, they're like, I don't know. It's pretty brutal in the U.S.
Yeah. Yet Philip Bailey just hit the top of the charts with his new album. Because of a lot of people overseas and of course the jazz. I feel good about where, especially here on the West Coast, and starting to trickle more venues are starting to go back to saying, okay, we need live music in here. It seems to pull the numbers. There's a different feel. We don't have to worry about the audience. So that's something I'm really working on heavy, to put more live music venues in Los Angeles and around the country as well. But music is amazing. The Velvet Room. Give people a little taste of how you came up with the Velvet Room.
There was I actually heard, I forget what radio station it was. They were talking about, there was a Velvet Room. I don't want to, it might've been KJLH was talking about they were doing some kind of, and that just stuck in my head. I thought that was the coolest idea. So what I wanted to do with that was I wanted to turn that into a musical idea of who's in the Velvet Room tonight. So, like, you don't know, like the show is going to be very, very interesting. It's going to be like, I don't care how good somebody is. I think sometimes when you hear the same person singing all night, it can become a little boring, even if they're great. Yeah. So this show is going to feature a lot of people. It's who's ever not on tour and who's ever available to do the show. Some of these bad boys that are on the album, we're going to be, using them, featuring them. There's going to be lead vocals from, the background singers have credits for days. So there's always going to be featured leads for like a handful of people. There's going to be some dancers. It's going to be a very interesting show that everybody will love it because of all these different, performance aspects that are going to be added to it. It's not just me going in and singing for an hour and a half. It's all kinds of things. It's featured male vocalists, other female vocalists, the dancers, the whoever is available that night that's with us of note will have their moment in the spotlight. And I want it to be really interesting. It's going to be musically inspiring, but it's also going to be just something that people didn't really expect, a different type of show.
Right. Now you, before we get out of here, I want to definitely talk about this. You do a lot with animal activism, and you're a big advocate for loving on the little ones and the big animals and all animals. Mm-hmm. How did that become? Well, I guess it's always been a part of who you are, but how did it transition? Because you give proceeds to animal activism on a regular basis.
I do. One of my one of my mission statements, so to speak, has been to, any monies pulled in, like from the corporate side of my musical experience. I give portions to PETA, Greenpeace. Who else? I've started to try to include humans on this. Somebody told me one time, they're like, you need to care for the humans as much as the animals. So I did add Doctors Without Borders because they're pretty amazing.
Yes.
And also St. Jude's, the
Children's
foundation.
Hospital.
Yeah. So I did add 2 human nonprofits. I just wanted to make that sort of like, whatever. I think we should all try to make this a better place before we go. So my deal has been to whatever proceeds I receive to give a portion of that back. Pay it forward.
That's right. That's awesome. Well, how can people get in touch with you, especially, and we'll put it out there as well, but how can they, you have a show coming up, even though if you're watching this at a later date, March 8th, 2020.
Yes.
That's going
to be kind of our album party. That's where we're going to, play the songs from the album, as well as a lot of other interesting, beautiful classic songs, some more originals. We were just in the studio yesterday recording some new stuff, and it's an ongoing, awesome process. It's going to be March 8th at Herb Alpert's Club, Vibrato. And that's, you can look that up at vibratojazzgrill.com. And then my contact is on, basically the main one is on Instagram. And then the app at the bottom of the page, like in my bio, has the links to all the other, my YouTube stuff, website, Facebook, etc. All the different aspects of the project that are being promoted, which is awesome.
Awesome. And you're amazing. And you look wonderful. And I know. It's like I crept up with the cameras into your crib. It's like, are you woke? Oh, yes, I'm fine. You look wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for, asking me about what I'm doing in life. That's a cool thing.
Oh, no, but it's like I said, it's a part of the mission to move the arts forward. And we may not know how important it is. If we have more places that are doing live music, and doing the arts and getting real musicianship out there, then it affects the parents, it affects the young people, it affects the kids. What's up, man?
It affects Ted Man.
Ted Man, how are you? So how do you feel about everything that's been going on? Word? Word.
Like, it's cool, man.
Yeah, he did kind of smile a little bit right there.
He sounds like... Sorry?
I said, April Doyle, thank you so much. We said, sounds like what?
He sounds like a motorboat. He's always making noise.
That's the thing about bulldogs. Like he knows he's on camera, so he kind of...
Yeah, totally. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks so much, April. We'll see you soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye.